I don't know who needs to hear this, but the calendar wasn't the only thing that they messed with to get you out of energetic alignment. They also messed with the time. The start of a new day is not at 12 a.m., it's at 6 a.m. Like the start of the new year is not in January, it's at the end of March in Aries season. So let me break it down to you. The sun is usually rising around 6 a.m., and this is the start of the masculine cycle. This is when you're going to have the most energy and the most liveliness throughout your day. That cycle goes from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. At the same time as this cycle starting, a biological process happens in your body where it releases serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone that helps us to wake up. Gives us the energy to jump out of bed. It gives us enthusiasm. It gives us creativity. It's the energy of action because the masculine cycle is the activity cycle. Once 6 p.m. hits, it ends this masculine cycle and it moves to the feminine cycle, which is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. During this feminine cycle, that's when your body is preparing to go to sleep, or that's the rest cycle. It's a great time for introspection. It's a great time for planning because the feminine energy is about your inner world, where masculine energy is about your outer world. 6 p.m. is usually around the time when the sun is setting. So what starts to happen in your body at that time is that your serotonin is actually transmuted into melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone in our body that helps us go to sleep. So instead of telling you the truth that there's only 12 hours in the day and then there's 12 hours in night, they tell you that there are 24 hours combined in both of these cycles. Because if they had told you the truth and they tell you you got to be at work at 5 o'clock, you got to be at work at 6 a.m., and that is the start of the morning cycle, then you'd be less likely or less inclined to want to do that. Not only that, if they told you it was only 12 hours in a day and you were meant to give them 8 hours, you would be less inclined to want to do that as well. So they don't tell you the truth, and they make sure that you're at work during that waking cycle where you're in that activity where you have the most energy, so that you're working for them during that time, squandering that energy or helping them to build whatever they need to build. And now, because they didn't tell you the truth, they get access to almost all of that energy. Now, the same thing is happening on a bigger level with your seasons. The waking cycles are going to be spring and summer, which is from Aries season to Libra season. So that's the activity period, where the rest period or feminine energy is going to be from Virgo all the way to Pisces. The reason why this is so important is because historically we've structured our whole entire lives around the sun rising and the sun setting, but also around the seasons because that was our way to survive. So we were always in alignment with the energy. However, when they created these corporate structures, they shifted based off of their corporate calendar, which not only moved us out of alignment with the energy around us, but it also moved us out of alignment with the biological cycles that are happening in our body as well. And in addition to that, when you're in this activity period, the brain waves that are going on are beta waves, because beta waves help you to get things done. And when you're in the resting period, the brain waves should be alpha waves. But because they got people working in a way that's not in alignment with the actual energy, it keeps you in these beta waves longer, throwing off the rest cycle, which is super detrimental because then your body is constantly working in these beta waves, which is survival mode. When you get trapped in these beta waves, you are in survival mode because your body does not know how to turn off. It does not know how to rest. It's constantly in this activity period. So what they do is trick you into believing that everything starts, like the new beginnings start in these winter cycles or when the energy is the most stagnant, so that you try to start your new beginnings during that cycle. And then when it doesn't work out, you get defeated. And the reason why most jobs, you don't get home until 6 p.m., meaning most people working 9 to 5 and they spending 5 to 6 in traffic, is so when you get home, you no longer have energy to do whatever it is that you would like to create to get you out of working that corporate job. So it's all a trap to keep you locked into their system. So if you want to get in alignment with the energy, start with that knowledge. Now, I might tell you a joke, but I ain't never gonna tell you no lie.